Mario Kart World, Walmart.com, Mario Kart World, Walmart.com. So what just happened? Walmart just cut the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart World bundle by $50, effectively making Mario Kart World free. Basically, you get the base price of the Switch 2, same thing as normal, but then Mario Kart World is a pack-in game now. And then Amazon followed suit, and then Best Buy, and then Target. And today, as of the recording of this video, the deal is still live on Walmart's website. You just have to add the bundle into your cart, and then you'll see the actual sale price reflected. Some people were confused because the price was still listed at the normal MSRP, but the reason why is because on their website or any of these retailers' websites, they have to list it at the minimum advertised price that they've agreed upon. So Nintendo can't get undercut, essentially. This isn't really anything new. I mean, it's still kind of scummy because, you know, it kind of misleads consumers, but Nintendo's been doing this for a while, and all you have to do is just add it to your cart, and then you actually see it. And Walmart literally says that outright. It says, add this product to your cart to see the actual price. So they don't even care at this point. They're just doing it. You know, it's not, they're not even like showing the normal price, but then it's like, hey, if you know kind of thing. No, they're just straight up not even showing what the normal price for the bundle would be, which would be $500. They're just showing you this message that says, add it to your cart, boom, get the deal. And that was all crazy. That was just a crazy thing that happened. Like the fact that they took $50 off of a console that is still in its first year is insane. Like the Switch OG didn't get a discount on the actual hardware for many, many years after its release. So this is huge. And not only that, but today, on Tuesday, after Cyber Monday, it's still there. The price is still that discounted bundle for Walmart, at least, which is super interesting. Like, why would they keep it there? You know, I know like some of these retailers, they'll do like extended sales and whatnot, but I just think that's super interesting. Like the fact that it's extended, but the fact that initially it was even considered to be something that should be discounted is very, very surprising and honestly telling. You know, I think a lot of people, including myself, were expecting some kind of Black Friday thing. And, you know, I guess it didn't fall exactly on that, but we got the price cut just a couple days later. Like I had a feeling this would happen, but it's still just shocking to see it. You know, like you can kind of anticipate these sorts of things, but actually seeing it happen is super just like, whoa, okay, like, you know, what everyone has been worrying about or talking about or, you know, raising concerns about when it comes to the Switch 2 is actually validated. Like right there, it's solid, just right in your face evidence of, hey, the Switch 2 is not going nearly as well as some people would have you think. You know, fastest selling this or that aside, the actual longevity of the Switch 2 is going to be something that is called into question, you know, constantly from now on. It already was, and people were already debating it, but like, it's just going to get more intense. The battle lines have been drawn, and, you know, a lot of people are standing on one side or the other when it comes to it. You know where I stand. I think I know where a lot of you guys stand, but this is something that we're going to have to get used to. Like going forward, we are going to see more discounts, you know, whether it's next year or sooner than that, we'll see. But at some point, we're going to see discounts for the Switch 2. And of course, you're going to see further discounts for the Switch OG as well. But we're going to start seeing some weird stuff happen with the prices and the fluctuation of them. I'm curious about video games. I'm curious about the actual software, if that also starts to get some kind of sales or, you know, adjustments going forward, because, you know, there's already a lot of people not happy with the game keycard situation. And if the hardware itself is going on sale, you know, it's kind of hard to justify investing in this ecosystem if it's kind of seeming to, you know, go downhill. I know this is just the beginning. I know this is just still its first year, but getting a price cut in the first year of a new console is pretty much unheard of. I actually can't think of any examples. If you guys think of any, let me know. But that's crazy. Like that's wild. And I'm not talking about like flops either. I'm not talking about like Wii U or PS3 type stuff. I'm talking about like what is thought to be like a prime candidate for a good, you know, console life cycle. Getting a price cut in its first year is crazy. It's crazy. And Nintendo hates this, by the way. They don't like when retailers do this. I mean, that's the whole reason why you can't see the price until you add it to your cart, because they don't want people to see that, you know. It reflects poorly on them. It shows that, hey, they were probably charging too much for this in the first place. You know, like if these retailers are willing to make this discount right now already, then that's kind of telling that Nintendo has kind of been price gouging when it comes to Switch 2. I mean, I think we all are aware that it was a bit overpriced. How much overpriced, you can debate, but it was overpriced regardless. And I think $450 with Mario Kart World is not a great deal. It's not a steal at all, but it's a little bit closer to what it should be. The Switch 2 should have been, if they want to charge $450 for it, having a pack-in game, that's fair, I suppose. It's still expensive, but what isn't these days? But yeah, at the 500 price point, it's only going to be the people that are very passionate or the people that just have disposable income that don't really care how much it costs anyways. So for $450, I'm curious how many people were actually picking this up. I'm sure you see a lot. I'm sure you see a lot of people that got this, but honestly, I would wait, because if you're interested in buying the Switch 2, if I ever buy one, it'll be used. I'm not supporting that. I'm not going to add another one to the sales count, but I would be curious to see what happens going forward, because we might get more price cuts, or if it's the same price, you'll see more with that. Maybe next year you get hey, $450 for Switch 2 game, and you get the camera for the game chat, and you get a Pro controller, or maybe you get another game, or maybe you get an eShop card, or Nintendo Switch Online for a couple of months or something like that. You've seen that happen in the past. Not all those things all at once, but certain retailers I think GameStop gave away Nintendo Switch Online cards at some point for the Switch 1 in some kind of bundle. We've seen that happen before. So I'd be curious to see how much you can actually get for that same amount of money if you just wait. Because I think you're going to start seeing that more often. I think you're going to start seeing bundles that include more just random things thrown in, because, they got to give people a reason to buy it. That's been the whole thing. That's been the whole conversation, is why would we buy this thing? There's not, there's not enough of a compelling reason to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 for a lot of people. And I'm just curious how many bells and whistles that these retailers decide to throw in to try to get people to do that. And maybe eventually Nintendo themselves, maybe Nintendo will have a Switch 2 bundle that comes with, all these random little side things. I don't personally think that would really be attractive to most consumers, but for budget conscious people that were I wanted to buy a Pro controller, I wanted to buy these things anyways, when you add it all up and okay, it's a deal, so maybe there's a market for that. For me personally, even though I'd never be buying one new, what would make me consider buying one new, if I didn't care about the morality of it, I don't want to add a one to that sales number. If I didn't care about that, what would make me buy one is they have maybe 2 games, and then you get a Pro controller, and I don't know, maybe it's a special edition of the system where it's limited thing. I don't know. That would be kind of compelling. But the current bundle, even $50 off, $450 for the system and Mario Kart World, I still wouldn't buy it. And even if that was a used price of $400, you get the same thing. I just wouldn't get it. I know that's not even that far off from what the Switch 1 is going for new, but I just don't care. I'm just not interested. But my opinion aside, I mean, a lot of people are frustrated right now because, they just bought their Switch 2 thinking that, why would this thing go on sale, right? Why would it go on sale this early? And boom, here you go. It just went on sale. And I think a lot of people were buying it on Black Friday, not because there was a deal, but you go out for Black Friday, you spend money. That's what you do. I think you were seeing a lot of people buying it then. And just a couple days later, there's a big discount that, wasn't advertised at all, mind you. This just came out of nowhere. And then other retailers picked it up after Walmart, and Walmart is still selling it for that price. That's wild. Is it going to go away after today? Is it going to be there for the rest of the week? What are we doing here? This is super crazy. This is all happening right now live. So yeah, I mean, the future of the Switch 2 is, it's unfolding right before your eyes. You're a part of this. You're seeing it all happen in real time. You lived through it. You were here. I was here. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Switch 2. This is super random and weird, and like, and it's super unexpected. Like, I don't think anyone really saw this coming, you know, besides the people that like already thought that like we would see something on Black Friday, then we didn't, and it's like, oh, guess we were wrong. And then boom, Cyber Monday, it's like, oh, we were right, what the heck. Like, but it was just the different day. Super weird, super duper weird. I wonder what made them do this. You know, I wonder what made them choose to do only a Cyber Monday thing. Because Cyber Monday is like a relatively new thing, right? You know, did they always only do Cyber Monday? Like, did they not do, like, I'm talking like in a general sense, like, did retailers never do Black Friday hardware stuff in the past couple of years? Because I was under the impression that they did, but then again, I haven't been in the market for a new console in a bit, so I'm kind of out of the loop in that regard. So you guys can let me know. But either way, I think this is super odd, and I really wonder what prompted this decision. Like, what made them flip the switch? Was it that there were a bunch of consoles selling on Black Friday, or was it because there weren't, you know, for that whole weekend? Like, when I say Black Friday, I mean that loosely. Like, I don't mean literally just that day. Black Friday weekend is always, you know, even for stuff that's not on sale, you see a lot of sales just because people are already out. But I wonder, maybe were there less selling that they had anticipated and they were just like, screw it, Cyber Monday deal? Or were there a lot already selling, or like, you know, a decent steady pace, and they were like, you know what, let's amplify this? I don't know. You could say either way. Maybe we'll get some numbers regarding this, but super weird, and I kind of don't know how to feel about it. How do you guys feel about it? Like, is this a big deal? I feel like it is. Like in the first year, a $50 discount for the bundled system with the game. Like, I don't know. I think that's a big deal. Mario Kart World for free already. You know, the crazy $80 scary game, you know, that everyone's like freaking out about, you know, including myself. I think that's expensive, but free. Like, that's huge. I don't know. This is just so random, but let me know what you guys think. Subscribe for some more Nintendo talk, and check out my other videos, and have yourself a very Goob day. Thank you guys.